Wings, etc. Cape Girardeau location. We will be over in Titletown next week. Make plans to join us after the Red Hawks go to Tennessee Tech. We will be at the Jackson Wings, etc. And if you're coming to Wings, don't forget about the award-winning jumbo wings for both dine-in or carry-out or delivery. That's right. You can get Wings, etc. delivered to your front door. Just use the DoorDash option. You can find the DoorDash app in your app store and check out their brand new freshly made burger menu. They have made some nice adjustments. I think you'll enjoy it. And in addition to the wings, the burgers, they have wraps, subs, quesadillas, entree salads, smoked ribs, and much more. And if you're coming for lunch, they have daily half-pound lunch specials that start at just $7.99. And again, you can have wings delivered right to your front door through DoorDash. And of course, they always have daily food and drink specials. It's Wings, etc. Good food, great times. We're going to be talking it over with the Red Hawks head football coach, Tom Matukowicz, the reigning Ohio Valley Conference Offensive Player of the Week. All-American running back Geno Hess is going to join us a little bit later on. And the Director of Athletics at Southeast, Brady Barkey, will be here. Exciting news just released late last week about Phase 1 of Houck Field construction. That is all coming up, so we've got a packed show for you. Let's welcome in head coach Tom Matukowicz, whose team rolled Tennessee State at Houck Stadium on Saturday, 47-14. You had to feel awfully good about the way your team performed, and in every aspect. Kenny Doak, your kicker, 4 for 4. He's the OVC Specialist of the Week. And then, of course, we mentioned what Geno Hess did, 205 yards rushing and 3 more touchdowns.
Yeah, just super happy, super proud of the guys. I think if you watched us practice all week long, you would never believe we're an 0-3 football team. And so I think we played well because we practiced well. And those guys really, we had great energy. And it was regardless of the results. When you looked at how we played, and it stayed that way through the whole game, and sometimes that's hard to do with young people. And so I was really pleased on that. We needed that win. I mean, there's no denying that we needed something good happen to us. And I wish I was more mature than this, but, I mean, the food tastes better. Hell, I woke up, I looked at Lynn, I said, damn, you're looking good today. Winning just makes everything better. And so hopefully, though, that we're mature enough to take that, right, as good feedback to continue what made that happen, which was evaluation, self-evaluation, having to get better plan, and then getting after it a whole week, and then coming with that kind of energy on the road. It's a little easier at home, right? You got a lot of people there to watch you. You got good fans, which we had tremendous fans, and they were really into the game on Saturday. But now it's on the road, and it won't be like that. Is there going to be a drop-off? And so that's my job as a coach, to make sure they understand we can't have that.
Well, you couldn't have had a better day weather-wise, and that always helps in terms of bringing fans out. And Brady Barkey, we had him on at halftime, had a chance to chat with him about the Houck Field construction and things of that nature, and he said they had sold every ticket to the football game earlier that morning. So technically, you had a sellout.
Yeah, no, it's good, and glad that's happening, and people haven't lost, haven't been, the kind of results people want, but they've stuck in there with us, and they've had great energy at the stands, and of course we had sellouts, so it's great. I don't know, maybe they're there to see Eddie George. I don't know. And what's the St. Louis Rams coach?
Jeff Fisher.
Jeff Fisher. And then what was the Cleveland Browns coach? What's his name?
Oh.
He's the OC.
Right.
I walked by Fisher. I said, hey, buddy, you might want to get out of here. There's still a lot of Rams fans around here pissed. So.
Yeah, well, I don't know. You probably are focused in on other things, but St. Louis looks like it's going to win this lawsuit. I mean, everything that Stan Kroenke and the NFL have put up in terms of trying to block the suit or get the suit out of St. Louis, they have lost every judicial ruling, and it's set to go to trial now. And if it does go to trial,
what are they suing for?
They are suing for breach of contract. because the NFL had clear relocation guidelines. And they did not follow those guidelines at all. And St. Louis spent about $80 million or however many millions of dollars in putting together a stadium design and getting all of that ready when the entire time it's been proven they had already planned to move the team no matter what. But they kept telling St. Louis, if you do this, if you jump through this hurdle, we want to stay here.
And they're going to just try to get that money back.
Plus more damages, punitive damages. There are some legal experts that say it could be in the high 9 figures and maybe even $1 billion in terms of a settlement with the National Football League and Stan Kroenke. And St. Louis is in a really good spot right now.
Yeah, shit. I hope they send some of that down for New Houck.
That would be good. That would be good. Jump in. You get the news. You probably already knew ahead of time, but until the Board of Governors officially votes on it, you're very hopeful, I'm sure. You've seen the renderings of what the facility is going to look like, but you get that news on Friday that indeed it is going to happen. At least phase 1 is going to get underway, and they believe it can be ready by opening day. What were your thoughts when you got the news, and how did the team react to something like that?
It was awesome. I'm sure a lot of fans were upset. I was upset on just how the whole thing went down, and all of a sudden we're sitting there looking at each other, but just can't say enough about the leadership with Vargas and the board and Brady that, we didn't sit around and have a pity party and sit there and all that. And there was a lot of hard conversations and a lot of hard decisions had to be made, but we did it. We moved forward, and we got great alignment, and now we got to just get it done. Like at the bottom line, if we can get enough people to care about SEMO athletics, then this will happen. And then it won't happen if there's not enough people that care about it. But I think they do. I believe in people. I don't know how. I can't even imagine the numbers involved and how on paper it's going to work, but I believe it will because, ever since I've been here, we just have tremendous people, and we're going to find a way to get it done.
And I got to feel that the team is pretty psyched now. I don't know how many of them will still be here when you get the new locker room, but a new locker room at the stadium, how big would that be for the program?
Yeah. Well, and I think it's just a long view. Like, it's 5 years. It's getting done. Like, hush your mouth. Don't ever say if. It's freaking getting done, right? And so 3 to 4 years, like, just think of what kind of statement that makes and how what that does for our program, for athletics, but also just whether it's the front step to downtown or, I remember just so many people's first experience. Like if I'm 8 years old and I'm in the back of my mom and dad's car and I'm driving down Broadway, first time you've ever seen SEMO. Hey, what's that? It's your first introduction to SEMO, and buildings matter. They do. Like if I went to a doctor and a building looked like crap, I'm like, hey, bro, I'm out. Like if you can't take care of the door, I don't want you to take care of my heart, right? So it matters like that, and it's a statement about who we are as an institution too. So tremendous opportunity, and we can set ourselves up for a bright future.
If you're winning Ohio Valley Conference football championships and going to the playoffs multiple times in the old facility, what can the new facility do for your program, coach, and recruiting? And just explain how important facilities are to 18-year-old kids.
Well, it just shows commitment. Like they walk in there, man, they want to be good at football. Obviously, they support football and all those type of things, and it's just is what it is. And so a lot of times, like, and I'll say it out loud, like when SIU's recruiting a guy against us, we don't recruit against him because we've lost so many of those because of the facility thing. And so now we can start going head-to-head and try to win some of those recruiting battles.
Well, you won the battle on the field on Saturday against Tennessee State. Again, the final score was 47-14, and you got on the board pretty early. You had a nice drive, 9 plays, 64 yards. I know you want touchdowns rather than field goals, but you finish it off. Kenny Doak, who was looking for his first field goal of the year, this is game 4, steps up and hits it dead center from 33 yards out. So you get on the board early. Tennessee State immediately is in catch-up mode.
Yeah, for sure. That was huge. It was great for Kenny. And it's how life works. Sometimes you're in the valley. Like Kenny was in a valley. Didn't have a great spring season and missed 2 field goals on the season for the fall. And then he goes out and he just kept working and kept preparing. He had mono or something. I don't know what he had, where his spleen was all swelled up. And and now he comes out and was 4 for 4, and I forget how long the long one was, maybe 45-ish. But
40 was his long. 33, 39, and 40. Oh, wait, 45. Sorry, 45. 45 was his long.
So hats off to him, and I know he'll be first to talk about the snapper and the holder and all those things don't happen without them. So super proud of our field goal unit. I think special teams, I'm a little concerned there. I really thought that was going to be one of our advantages this game, and it wasn't. Other than our field goal, it was even or punt. We probably won. Our kickoff coverage is it make you vomit right now. So we gotta do a better job that way. Kickoff return, we have better players than the results we're getting. So those are some units that we got to really focus and. When things are tight and you're looking for advantages in games and it's a 1-2 score game, like where are we going to create an advantage? So we got some work to do this week, special teams wise.
And for people that don't follow it closely, you're down to your 6th punt returner. I mean, have you ever seen anything like this with all of the injuries and the Custis defection? All of a sudden, you're running out of 6 different guy to return punts in the football game.
No, it's pretty wild, but we did get healthy, so we picked up some defensive players, and I think you saw what that did, and then we're really hoping Alston and Z will be back, and so that'll help our return game too. Shabari, we played him, but he's still hobbling, and so, but hopefully it'll be another week along that he's gotten better and continue there. So we're hopefully going in this week as strong as we've been.
Yeah, you have been down 2 very good linebackers in Brandon Mincy and then Omardrick Douglas. They both returned, and I was happy to see Omardrick Douglas got his jersey number 0.
Yeah,
so
he got it in there. He was proud of that. And, it's amazing. I have really undervalued gear. I mean, I think
They care about that stuff.
Buddy, they care about it like way more than I can't even imagine. Obviously, I don't care. Like, if it was for my wife, I'd wear the same outfit every single day. Like, I could care less what I wear, but to them, it's really important. We broke out new uniforms, and, I mean, you would have thought, I don't know what I mean, they were going bananas over this new uniform, and they loved it, and so very appreciative of Coach Blackman, who's our director of football operations. He designed that and made all that happen, man. Our players really love that. But going forward, we just got to really prioritize that kind of stuff because it does matter, and it does in recruiting also. And with NIL and all this other stuff that's going on, I just feel like as a program we got to adapt and adjust. You know what they say, either evolve or die. And so there's a lot of landscape stuff that's changing in athletics, from paying players to catering to them a little bit like they're an NFL free agent. So this is just a new world that we're kind of going down, and I'm the one that needs to change. I'm the dinosaur guy, so I got to figure out what that looks like moving forward and a good pathway to navigate these new waters, because really it doesn't matter how I feel about it. These are the rules. Our job is to get good at them and strategically try to do a better job with it than Martin and Murray, right? And so it'll be interesting to just see what this leads to.
And now, I mean, I've already heard from Division I coaches that have told me not only do we have to be really good in recruiting, we've got to be really good at re-recruiting our own players because of how easy it is to jump ship and head off somewhere else, right?
Yeah, I know. To me, the lesson is you have to build something people want to be a part of. Like if the only string attached is what football does for me, they're going to hit it as soon as they can. But it's easy to tell me that you're leaving, but it's hard to tell a teammate that you care about that I'm leaving. And so we got to really double down on our program about how we care about each other and all those type of things. But also, I need to make sure regionally we're good. I recruit local, but I'm talking even more regionally. Like 4 to 6 hours, we need to do a little better job than we have because, someone from Atlanta or someone from California, they don't care, right? It's just really easy for them to leave. Where you recruit somebody from, Springfield, Illinois or St. Louis, they're just more invested. It's going to be a little harder to just jump ship on things, but these are interesting times on all of it.
So anybody that wasn't at Houck Stadium or didn't get a chance to watch the game, you had the all-red unis on Saturday. Red jersey, red pants. What goes into deciding on a particular game day what you're going to wear that day?
Blackman does it all. I think he does ask. But he stopped asking me after like the 10th time. I told him, hey, I could care less. Like I'll play in a jockstrap. Like it literally does not matter to me. And so I apologize about that visual I just gave everybody.
Yeah, there are many people saying, please don't do it, Coach. Don't do it, Coach.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm still trying to recover from a little swimming suit issue, but anyway. So anyway, yeah, Coach Blackman does a really good job. The white helmets that was the first time we did those with the players and all that, and it was good. It was another motivating factor.
I remember a few years ago you were going to play Kansas, and you got some new helmets, and then for whatever reason, everyone was excited about the helmets, but when you wore the helmets, they wore in a weird way, and they were uncomfortable for the players.
Yeah, very. Yeah, that was another lesson that I had to learn. They're a different model. So we were trying to, get a different helmet but try to save some money, and it's right there. There it is. Joe's got it. See if give you $5 if you put that on. See if he puts that on. I think I gave him an extra small, so this could be interesting.
Yeah, this is something. He's trying to squeeze it in there. He got it halfway on, it appears.
Exactly. But I do think that is a part of marketing. That's your brand and all those type of things. It's important, but I can't do it, right?
Sure.
So you got to have people in place to make sure we're still, cutting edge and on top of all that stuff. But I got to run a football program, not be a marketing director,
So you're up 16-0 at halftime. 3 Kenny Doak field goals, 33, 40, and 39 yards out. And on the final field goal, 17 seconds to play before halftime. You had a 14-play drive. I know you'd have liked to have gotten it in the end zone, but you still finished the first half in good shape, up 16-0, knowing you're going to get the football first to start the second half of the game.
Yeah, no, those were huge and just gave us a lot of momentum going into halftime, and that was big. A couple of those red zone, we had a holding penalty, and we kind of stalled out. And those are the type of things, obviously in other games it could come and hurt us. We haven't had a lot of reps in the red zone, so it's just like anything. You got to do it to get better at it. And so CJ, I think, will be better now down there. He I know he took a sack in the red zone, which you obviously can't do, some stuff like that.
So we know about the strength of Geno Hess. We know about his ability to break tackles, and he's shifty. We saw another gear from Geno Hess to start the third period, a 63-yard run when he ran away from Tennessee State defensive backs. He might be a little faster than the average person thinks.
Yeah, no, he's deceptive because he is big. But Tennessee State can run. That was not a bad defense. They didn't necessarily play that well, but that was a solid OVC defense, and they didn't catch him. So we were all glad. He's put on a few, and so I'm glad that didn't slow him down.
So you've got a guy in Geno Hess, coach. When you, in football, use the word workhorse. They use that a lot, but there are guys who are workhorses,
No, I completely
and they
agree.
can absolutely take the banging that it takes to be a Division I running back. You're talking about Geno Hess, who in high school in Peoria had a state record 64 carries in a football game. You kind of got the idea early that this guy was a durable football player.
Yeah. And I think what's unique about him, and I can't remember the last one I've had, but he gets better as the game goes on. Some will lose steam. They get tired and whatever. Like the more he gets into the game, the better he gets at it. And so the defense got wore down. He broke a lot of tackles, and that's just great to see.
Boy, 3 times getting across the goal line. There are just some guys that have a nose for the end zone. I mean, when a guy leads the nation in rushing touchdowns, as he did last year, that's the definition of having a nose for the end zone. He has it, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's got great vision. There's one zone play that he found the only hole that was there. And then, but he's also strong enough and, will drive his legs enough to just make a way. And so that's the combination you want to have in a good goal line back.
Okay, C.J. Ogbana, coach, in the football game. We've talked about you can tell he's getting more comfortable with the offense. 14 for 23 through the air, 227 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. And C.J. Ogbana was not sacked in the football game.
Yeah. Good job by our O-line, first of all. I mean, our O-line and tight ends, man, they are fun to watch. They're playing hard, getting a lot of knockdowns. I'm super excited about them. I still think we got to continue to get our passing game better. Of course, it's going to help a bunch.
When you get your top
guys.
2 wide receivers back, that might help.
But also, just sitting in the pocket and some things like that, not just throwing it up, doing where you're sitting in the pocket, reading the progression, hitting your second or third key. And so, still going to coach him. He's going to keep getting better and hopefully stay right on track. He ran the ball strong and hard. Ball security was really, really good on offense. The one pick was not a bad throw, could have been better or moved on from, but it wasn't a terrible interception either.
And Shemetsky Rucker, coach, 11 carries, 74 yards. He averaged almost 7 yards per carry in the game.
Yeah, ran strong. I showed a clip this morning to the team where he didn't run out of bounds and got an extra 5 or 6 yards. And he's still young, and he has a long ways to go fundamentally in some of the things when he doesn't have the ball, but he's taking advantage of his opportunity.
So, obviously, you're going to talk a lot about the offense when you have a 200-yard rusher, when you score 47 points. But on the defensive side of the football, your defense gave up 8 points. The other touchdown came on a kick return. Your defense gave up 8 points. They have an all-conference running back in Starling. You held them to 14 rushing yards on 22 carries. Talk about the defense.
Yeah, I think we got some guys healthy, and we've kind of added some tweaks in our defensive package, and it's taken a little bit to get better. We didn't give up the big play, didn't have near the mental bust that we had, so that's helpful. And they just kept getting better and found a way to play good defense. So it was fun to watch, and I'm happy for them. And got a challenge this week. Lawrence Johnson went out, and he's out for this game, and that's the one position that we don't have enough depth as it is. Now it's just bad. So we got to get some of these young guys better in a hurry, and they got a great opportunity that they're going to get to play this week. But, we're counting on them not to let the rest of us down.
We didn't figure it out until a little bit later on in the game that Bryce Norman had changed numbers. He's number 32 now. It looked like there might be a targeting penalty at some point, but they looked at it and said, no, we had a chance to look at the replay. But for a second time in 4 collegiate games, the leading tackler on your football team was freshman Bryce Norman.
Yeah, no, that was great to see, and he's continued to improve and get better. He's taken advantage of some injuries too, and because of that, he's going to earn a lot of playing time. And had a huge third down stop, open field tackle on a really good player, and then he caused a fumble also late in the game. And so, just really happy with him.
And then the guy who tied him for the tackles lead is Danye Taylor, who is from Cape Girardeau Central High School.
Yeah.
So you talk about you're recruiting locally and regionally. You got 2 guys as your leading tackler from Jackson and Cape Girardeau.
Yeah, I'm proud of that. Like, that's important to me. We can't just recruit everybody because it is Division I, but man, that is important to me, that a lot of our good players want to play here and stay home, but more importantly, we've given them that opportunity to play here. So, and they're that's fun to see a Cape Tiger and a Jackson Indian out there, right?
So you've got Geno Hess, who is from Peoria, and it was a state champion. He's a conference champion at the Division I level. Clearly a winning football player. Tell us about your recruitment of Geno Hess.
He's a really under-recruited guy. When you look at his numbers, and obviously they play state championship, people kind of poo-pooed him a little bit, probably because of his height or whatever. But we offered him early. We liked his film early on, and he's got 2 great parents up there, and came in and redshirted. And he's a guy though that wasn't ready-made. There were he could always run the ball, right? Well, that's not everything about playing Division I. And so his pass block and his ball skills, all these things that he's also had to get better at, he has. He's got a low ego as far as, he lets us coach him. Let me make this clear. He does not have a low opinion of himself. It's actually maybe a little high. But he's humble enough that he knows he doesn't just show up and it's all going to happen, that he's still going to work to get better at his craft just like the rest of us are.
So we'll talk it over with Geno Hess a little bit later on, the athletics director at Southeast Missouri State. Brady Barkey, big news with the renovation of Houck Field. So a lot of good news for SEMO football. We'll talk with Geno Hess, the All-American running back for the Red Hawks, who was named OVC Offensive Player of the Week yesterday. That's straight ahead. We're at Wings Etc. in Cape. It's the Red Hawks Coaches Show on SEMO ESPN. Again, we'll be over in Jackson next week, 12 noon on Monday. Hope you can join us for that after the Red Hawks head to Tennessee Tech. That game Saturday, by the way, a 1:30 kickoff. Did you know that at Wings Etc. they have over 70 items that are not chicken wings, especially the brand new burger lineup, their wraps, salads, and other favorites, and you've got all kinds of options for ordering Wings Etc. Did you know you can order online now? Just go to the Wings Etc. website. You can order for pickup, or if you'd like it delivered to your front door, you can do that through DoorDash. And don't forget about their daily food and drink specials. Do you want to see Monday Night Football? You can watch it right here at Wings tonight. Can the Cardinals extend their winning streak to 17 in a row? You can find out tomorrow when they host the Milwaukee Brewers, and this is your home for the NFL and Cardinal baseball. Wings, etc. Let's welcome in Red Hawks All-American running back Geno Hess to the show. You carried the football a lot on Saturday, obviously racking up 205 yards. How do you feel the next day after a game like that where you were so involved, you took a lot of hits? What did Geno Hess feel like on Sunday morning?
Geno Hess felt like on Sunday just wanted to sleep all day, just lay in bed and just watch the NFL game. But I had got up and went to treatment for a little bit of ice soreness, and then just went back home and just watched the rest of the NFL.
So what kind of treatment is it after a football game the following day?
It all depends. Yesterday it was just ice, but it's been ice lately except for Sam Houston. I think I had to get treatment on my hand, but other than that, it's just mostly ice.
So you watch the NFL on Sunday like a lot of us. Are you a Chicago Bears fan? You're from Peoria, Illinois. Who is Geno's favorite team?
I'm not a Chicago Bears fan. I'm actually a Dallas Cowboys fan.
Dallas Cowboys. Well, then you'll be all about it tonight. Cowboys are playing tonight.
Yes, we are. Get this W just like the Red Hawks did.
Boy, when you see a guy like Dak Prescott, I'm sure you've seen the injury. That was a pretty gruesome injury. And when you have something that is that severe, a lot of times nobody knows how you're going to come back and respond after something like that. Are you surprised that Dak is back so quickly and playing at a high level?
I'm really not surprised. I actually kept up with him through social media through the injuries, and I can tell by the way he took the adversity that he was going to come back better than what he was before.
Boy, he's looking awfully good right now. The Cowboys look like they may be the class of that division. Washington has a nice defense, but I don't see them doing a whole lot at quarterback. So are you excited about the Cowboys' prospects this year?
I'm excited. We got enough to win the Super Bowl this year.
Oh, he's calling for a Super Bowl win. All right, that's good news. You've been a part of an Ohio Valley Conference football championship. You're also part of a state championship in Peoria, Illinois. Tell us what that was like to win a state title.
It was a great feeling knowing that at the end of the day, end of the season, you could say I was part of the best team this year, and just it was a lot of confidence going into the next year.
I thought it was interesting. You scored 44 touchdowns the year that you won the state championship. 44 touchdowns, over 2,200 yards. Man, I mean, that's a lot of time getting in the end zone. Where you and you guys had other running backs on the football team.
We did. We had, I think it was me, and we had another 1,500-yard back. Then the quarterback, of course, I think he had over 1,500. So it was just great. And then I just love getting into the end zone.
Well, clearly, you led the nation last year with 12 rushing touchdowns. You had a game versus Normal West. You could probably describe every carry that you got, but you set the state record with 64 carries. You ran for 574 yards and 8 touchdowns in one game. What was that like? Because sometimes you hear basketball players say, okay, I was in the zone. I mean, I couldn't miss. I was in the zone. Sounds like you were in the zone that night against Normal West.
Yeah, I would say I got into the zone because I remember the game. We had like a rain delay, and then the locker room was so hot. I walked into the locker room and just started throwing up, and then the rain delay went past. And after that, I just felt like I just kept seeing the end zone, just kept scoring.
So you were actually sick the day that you rushed for almost 600 yards on 64 carries and 8 touchdowns?
Just a little bit. I got sick at like halftime, and I don't know why I just started throwing up. It's just like I feel like I got overheated and just walked out the locker room and just started throwing up everything I ate today, everything I drank.
So it was like the Michael Jordan flu game.
You could say that, yeah.
All right, the Geno Hess flu game where he pounded the end zone for 10 touchdowns. You're also a Southeast Scholar athlete, corporate communication major. Tell us about your major.
I'm in corporate comm right now. Scheduled to graduate next fall, and my parents always said you're gonna be good at football, but at the end of the day, football is gonna be over with. Eventually, you have to have something to show for. So I can say thank you, Mom and Dad, for just not saying football, and putting school above football.
So do you have any idea what you want to pursue when you get? I mean, you've still got plenty of time in school and plenty of football to play. Any idea what you want to pursue, or are you still thinking it over?
I'm just thinking it over, just hopefully opening a lot of doors after football's over with. Then I can have a lot of options to pick from.
How hard is it to be a scholar athlete, which means you're excelling in the classroom, the amount of hours it takes to do that versus the amount of hours that you have to put forth as a football player?
It's hard, but in the day you got to have focus and remember what you're here for. You're not just here for football. You got to do school first, and then it's just schoolwork.
All right, get this note from Jeff Hansa. Geno Hess, the third FCS player to rush for over 200 yards in a game this season. There is a running back at Youngstown State and a running back at Montana State. So you're among pretty elite company. Did you have any idea you were approaching 200 yards in this game? I mean, I know they're not sending stat sheets down to the sideline.
I didn't know at all. I just came in. Well, this is how it happened. One of my O-linemen sent me something on Instagram showing me the running back from TSU. He fed his O-line after he had a good game versus the game before. So I told Phil that if I got 200 yards that I would treat them. So today I'm going to get them something to eat and take care of them from them taking care of me.
All right, so you're feeding the offensive line. I've seen some of these guys. It might cost you a little bit. These guys don't look like they just have one helping.
Yeah, it might cost me a little bit, but it's all worth it.
So what's it like to have confidence in the offensive line? I mean, you're not going anywhere if the offensive line isn't opening up some holes. I mean, TSU's got an all-conference running back, but they weren't doing anything against Southeast Missouri's defense.
It's great to have confidence in the O-line because if you have confidence in them, then you got to have confidence in yourself. And then I seen the confidence really started every week after we played. That's how you know it's rough. Then we played Sam Houston, but then I could see that they kept getting better, and them getting better is also making me better.
So C.J. Ogbana, you know how difficult it is to learn a playbook. He got here in July and all of a sudden needed to not only learn the playbook but win the starting quarterback job. What have you seen out of C.J. since he stepped foot on campus?
I've seen a lot of improvement. He learned the playbook pretty fast. And the most important thing was he just built a relationship with all of us, and that he just didn't stay to himself. He just had a relationship with me, the receivers, his O-line, and everybody else on defense.
So you are pretty good at catching the ball out of the backfield, but they didn't throw you the ball much when you first got here. How much better and how much time have you put in becoming a productive receiver, and how tough is that? Because that's a different part of the game. It's one thing to take a handoff. It's another thing to run a good route and make the catch.
Yeah, they wouldn't throw me the ball at all when the first 2-3 years I got here. And then it was really last year in the spring when Zion got hurt, and they would give me opportunities, and I wouldn't capitalize on them. So this spring and the summer after the season, I would just catch balls every day from the quarterbacks that were here at the time, going home, catching balls, and just getting more confidence in my hands at the end of the day.
Well, I know it's because they want to find a way to put the ball in your hands whenever possible, especially in space. How different is it to take a handoff from the line of scrimmage versus catching a ball out in space and then turning it upfield?
Well, I feel like it's easier in space because you have more room to work with and just basically you have to read more inside the box, in my opinion.
Before you scored your last touchdown, we were talking on the radio. It was like you looked like you were hungry, that nothing was going to keep you from getting out of the end zone on that last scoring drive. And this was even before you even got close to the goal line. We knew when you got close to the goal line you were going to score. What were you thinking on that last scoring drive?
Well, last week I got to the goal red zone. Coach took me out and let Ski score, so I knew eventually if I didn't score, he's probably going to take me out again and let Ski score.
So that was your motivation.
A little bit, and I just love scoring football.
63-yard run. Take us through that run, and did you have confidence they weren't going to catch you from behind?
I think it's third quarter, and just I was going through the reads, and like it hit backside, and just the last two times I had big runs, I didn't got caught, so I had to make up for it before people start saying that I actually am slow.
Well, you definitely weren't slow on that. How often do you have a play and it's designed to go here, but when you get the football, you see there's nothing there, and how quickly you have to change your mind and turn it somewhere else?
It happens quick because the way the defense is going, because if you start one way, everybody else is coming towards you, so you have to do it quick so then you can get past everybody else.
How tough is it to learn all of the pass protection at the Division I level? I don't know how much of it you had to do in high school. You were a star running back there, but at this level, it is very important for the health of the quarterback that the running back knows how to pass protect.
Yeah, I think pass protection is more than running because everybody knows you can run the ball. But if you can't pass protect, then you won't get the ball because you can't keep the quarterback clean at the end of the day.
All right, so what was the mood of the team after you knocked off Tennessee State and moved to 1-0 in conference play?
I think everybody has high confidence right now. We see that we do have potential to do very good things with this team, and we just got to keep building on from it.
Well, you're going back to a place where I think you made your collegiate debut at Tennessee Tech 3 years ago, right? You had a big game. I know SEMO scored 70 points, but that was the first time that I can remember seeing you play for the Redhawks was at Tennessee Tech.
That actually is my first game playing since when I got here, and it's like the second time since I've been there, and hopefully we can just get another W since I've been there.
All right, that is going to be at 1:30 on Saturday. Are you on social media?
I am.
Okay, where can we follow you? If somebody wants to follow Geno Hess on social media, whether it be TikTok or Twitter or what have you?
On Twitter, you can just type in @Geno Hess. Then on Instagram, it's just the Geno Hess.
The Geno Hess.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks so much for the time. Best of luck at Tennessee Tech this Saturday. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
That is the Geno Hess. Redhawks All-American. The athletics director at Southeast Missouri State is here. Brady Barkey is going to join us. How about this new Houck Field that everyone's excited about? We'll talk it over with Brady Barkey when we come back. We're at Wings Etc. in Cape, the Redhawks Coaches Show on SEMO ESPN. The Red Hawks Coaches Show at Wings Etc. We're in the Cape Girardeau location. We will be in Jackson next week. Hope you can join us for that after the Red Hawks head to Tennessee Tech. Thanks to Coach Took, who we spoke with earlier on in the show, and the OVC Offensive Player of the Week, Geno Hess. Now we're going to add some more instant offense. Brady Barkey, the Director of Athletics at Southeast Missouri State. Man, this is an exciting time. Everybody got the news Friday about the Board of Governors approving Phase 1 of the renovation of Houck Field. What kind of feedback are you hearing, and how excited were you when you heard the news about the Board of Governors?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, I hadn't smiled in about a month, but no, that's a huge step for us. It was over the course of a couple of days. I had an opportunity to visit with the Board of Governors and kind of share our plan and what we were trying to accomplish. And so we, did that and answered a lot of questions and put a lot of work into making sure that everybody felt comfortable that, it was a well thought out plan and prepares us well for the future. And so to get them to support that and unanimously support it at that is a really big deal. And I think it sends a really strong message in terms of the importance of athletics for the university and the future of athletics for this university. And so that's a huge step forward for us to get started. But we know that we've got a lot of work to do, not just in getting Phase 1 done, but everything else that's going to follow it in terms of being able to ultimately get to that finished product that we teased people with a little bit in showing a rendering of it last week.
So in other words, fundraising.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's ultimately we know that's how it's going to get done. The university can't be expected to do something like this on its own, and so we know that it's going to take community partners and it's going to take private support of people wanting to invest in us, and ultimately that's what it is, right? It's an investment in people like Geno Hess. You get a chance to visit with those people and see who they really are and how they represent us, and it makes it easier to kind of sell it that this is more than just about trying to build a football stadium.
So we fully expect it to be Wings Etc. Stadium at Houck Field.
Well, yeah, for sure. Those opportunities are there. Joe's reaching into his pocket now. We'll get it finished right after the show.
So as you work your way into the different phases, let's talk about Phase 1 now. We have seen the rendering that was released on Friday. There's another kind of a sketched rendering on the SEMO Redhawks .com website, where we can kind of see that where the suite and press box level will be above the initial seating on the south side, and a new field house, which is right now in the east end zone where the cars and the tents are on game day. Talk a little bit about Phase 1 and then where you go from there.
Yeah, so Phase 1, really our main objective was to be able to get capacity back in the stadium, but we didn't want to have a short-term approach to it. We wanted to make sure that it was still part of the design that we had worked on in 2019 as we planned for what a new Houck would look like. And so, what the first phase will be, of course, demolishing the south side and rebuilding the concourse and seating area for the south side. And so by the time that's done, we'll have I think it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 4,700 seats or so, 4,800 seats in the south side. Which is
what was the south side before that?
It was about 4,300. So it's a little bit more in the south side. But of course, you're going to have proper restrooms and concessions and those types of amenities starting to make their way back into Houck, or maybe actually make their way into Houck, because I'm not sure that we actually had those in the past. But that's the first part of it. And then there's actually two more parts to the south side. And one of those, of course, is the locker room, training room, like kind of the team functions that we need there. And then the other is the press box.
The most important phase.
Of course,
right.
of course.
Yeah.
And we're still holding that space, for your donation for the press box area that we talked about a few weeks ago. But
and the exciting news for anybody that has been to Houck and has had to walk the steps, there will be elevators
Yeah.
at this football facility.
Yeah, it's a crazy concept that in order to get up there, we'll actually have elevators for people. But it will be, the press, all the press functions, all the operational needs, coaches' boxes, all of that stuff being able to be on the south side and have the connectivity and things that we need there. And then a club level is kind of where we are conceptually with it. And again, that's providing an opportunity for people to go and experience the game the way they want to, and be able to have a good experience, interact with each other, and make it a social event. And so, all of that stuff comes with a price. And I think that's the real challenge in this right now, is that we've never done a capital campaign for athletics, and the university hasn't done a whole lot of capital campaigns for facilities on campus either. And so the community may not be accustomed to what that takes and how to be a part of that. And so, we're taking a leap of faith on people that they're going to understand it and understand the importance of it, not just to this university, but to this region. And, go up and down Broadway on homecoming and realize what this means to this community. And so I think that's going to be a big part of our message, is making sure people understand that and getting people to think a little bit differently. It's not a transactional type of thing that you pay your seat donation and buy your tickets and that's your support. It's about something bigger than that. And I'm confident that people are going to understand that, and we're going to have some momentum, and we're going to be able to create those first couple of phases to finish off the South. But to your earlier point, we have an entire design that is actually allowing us to be able to connect the South to the North with some seating that would go overhead the touchdown plaza and wrap around to the north side, and then completely reimagining the north side and creating kind of what we've dubbed the quarry, which is an opportunity to actually lower the height of the seats, extend them end zone to end zone, and expose that quarry that is actually back behind the seats that nobody sees. And it's just such a unique venue that, when the cameras are on and people are watching on ESPN, they're going to see that, and they're going to immediately recognize that as, as SEMO. And that's a really cool thing. And so that's kind of the phase that would follow the South Side. And then we've also realized that, Houck Fieldhouse is, 80 years old now. And so that's one of those things that we know is going to have to be, addressed at some point too. And so we've tried to work that into the design. And there's actually an initial conceptual design that shows a new field house being built in the east and kind of enclosing the rest of that space in. And then being able to finish the southwest corner off after the field house would come down with, the remainder of the building space and adding some parking back into where that field house footprint was. And so it's really ambitious. It's a big, bold vision. But, ultimately I think if we want to get where, we're headed, that's what we're going to need to do. And so, we're going to bite it off one chunk at a time. And ultimately, have a plan to get us there to the end at the end of the day. And so I'm excited to get started with it.
So you anticipate, I know in the university's release, you are anticipating that the South Side, at least phase one, which does not include club level, press box, things of that nature, to be ready to go by kickoff next year.
Yeah, so, if you remember, a few weeks ago when we talked about closing it, I had mentioned that I thought that there was a way we could do it and that we were going to go until somebody told us we couldn't. And we've continued on that track, and nobody's told us we can't yet. And so we've talked with our architects. We've talked with some of the contractors that may be interested in bidding on the construction, and they've all assured us that the timeline is doable. We're going to be creative in the way that we do it, and that we may actually end up kind of bidding out some of the materials a little earlier than the construction, just so that we can get in the queue, because there's some lead time delays with everything. But that we feel like we've got a really good plan in place to get us there in time for next season. And so it won't be until after the end of the football season that we'll begin demolishing the South Side. But it all has a pretty good schedule. It's an aggressive schedule, but it's one that is certainly very doable.
And we'll have much more time to talk about the phases. For people that want to see what the finished product is going to look like, the renderings for each phase, and then when it's all completed, how do they go about finding that? I know there's going to be a way where people can look at it, and a way that people can jump on board and be a part of the solution.
Yeah, so this week we're going to share a web page that will provide some additional detail to what this initial Southside phasing is, and also provide a little bit more information about the scope of the project as well, and what some of those future phases might look like. And so we'll share that out and direct people to that. And give people an opportunity, obviously, to donate and support that if they would like to. But we know that we're going to also need to be able to sit down with people and talk about, leadership gifts from people who can truly be transformational in this. And so that's where I'm going to spend a lot of my time and energy here, especially in the next probably 3 to 6 months, is a window that we have to be able to create enough momentum to be able to continue on with the other parts of the South phase. And so that's really a big thing for us, is we don't want to just build the seating structure and then people, become complacent and say, okay, well, that's good. I've got a seat now. I'm fine. We want to make sure we carry the momentum that we've got from all the success that the teams have had to this big step that the university's taking and taking the initial phase of the South Side. We want to carry all of that through and make sure that this project can get completed. And so we're going to spend a lot of time here in the short term making sure that we get people on board and have an opportunity to keep this thing rolling.
Obviously we think about football when we think about Houck, but the soccer team plays there. And if we're talking about a new field house, the volleyball team plays there. I mean, this impacts multiple programs.
Yeah, and I mean, locker rooms, offices for baseball, softball, tennis, volleyball, all of that is over in the field house. Gymnastics competes in the field house. Volleyball, of course, competes there. Football and soccer in the stadium, but we also use that stadium for another turf location for teams to get out and be able to do work. We do strength or speed and agility work in there with our strength staff. And then you talk about other uses for this. We don't want it to be something that's used 15 times a year for our teams to compete. We want to be able to see, can we draw people into the region with it? Are there an opportunity to host state championship events? Or is there an opportunity for marching bands? Or there, whatever it is that we can draw people into this region and create economic activity for the community and be able to showcase our university helps us, of course, with enrollment and having prospective students on campus. But it's huge for this community. And so those are the types of messages we want people to understand in terms of when we talk about this is more than just a stadium. It's so much more than that. And so, those are all things that we're going to try to make sure that we create spaces that are conducive to that and allow a lot of people to benefit from this.
Separate from the facilities, how many questions are you getting now with the flux that we're seeing in the Ohio Valley Conference? It's been reported Belmont is leaving. We know Austin P. Jacksonville and Eastern Kentucky are departing. I'm sure people are nervous. Well, where does this leave SEMO? And they are rightly concerned. And what are your thoughts about the way that things are trending now? And obviously, you're committed to the OVC, but with all of these facility upgrades, I would think SEMO would be much more attractive to some other conferences at some point.
Yeah, I think at the time we get all the the facility upgrades done, I think you're right. There will probably be people that are are interested in us. I think for our sake, though, in terms of doing what's best for SEMO, I think we need to focus on ourselves at this point. I think we need to focus on getting our facilities in order. We need to find ways to continue to generate revenue and improve our operational expense, budgets and our scholarship budgets and those types of things, and best position ourselves so that in the event that something were to happen with the OVC and we have to find a new home, that we're actually a marketable institution that would. But I think for the time being, there are a half a dozen institutions in the OVC that are really committed to staying together and staying, in the OVC. And some of that stuff that as you see other schools leave, is it fool's gold? Who knows? We'll find out. But I think, we need to do what's best for us. But at the same time, we're also sending a message about, the OVC, because I think we saw Jacksonville and Eastern Kentucky and Austin Peay leave, and people want to talk about, well, that's football. All the good football schools are gone now. Well, you're seeing a university that's had, 2 playoff appearances in the last 3 years and is getting ready to invest in a $60 million capital campaign for a football facility. I think that sends a pretty strong message in terms of how serious we are about it. And so, we'll do our part, and we'll see where this goes, because I think some people are going to move just because people are moving, right? And they think, well, that must be what I'm supposed to do too. But I don't know that that's always the right play. And, you find yourself now spending an extra $1 million or $2 million a year just to travel your teams from place to place. You haven't gotten better. You've just increased your expenses. And so, we'll see. I know the OVC, we've been really active in trying to recruit members. I think there's one that's close to committing to join us. And I think there are some others that maybe have some interest that might make some sense, that may be a little bit further away. But from a numbers standpoint, we're still okay with automatic qualifiers. You're talking about 6 teams and 7 in men's basketball, and we're still okay at that point. And so, I think for the time being, we'll watch the landscape, but we're going to worry about us and make sure that, we get ourselves in our best position to be successful. And, I kind of joked about it. I said SEMO got good and everybody left. It must just be timing. But, we'll continue to focus on making us the best athletics program we can be.
And I know you are going to join us on our daily sports talk show, the Sports Huddle, Wednesday at 9:30, where we have a little more time and can get into some things a little bit more. But, again, the university is going to put out a web page where everyone can go look at what they anticipate for the new Houck Field and the field house and everything. That's coming up quickly.
Yep. That'll be out here this week. We'll make sure people can see it, and we want people to be excited. We want people to talk about it. It's great for recruiting and all those things for us, but like I said, it's great for this community. We want people to get excited and get behind it. And if anybody's looking for a way to get involved, obviously, don't hesitate. We'll find plenty of opportunities for people. But I think the message and people understanding it is the first piece, because we don't want people to think that, oh, well, they got it and now we'll just watch it be built. That there's a whole lot left for people to lock arms with us and be able to support it.
Brady, thanks so much for your time. We always appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. That's Brady Barkey, Director of Athletics. That's going to do it for the Red Hawks Coaches Show. Don't forget, it is a 1:30 kickoff in Cookeville at Tucker Stadium as the Red Hawks take on winless Tennessee Tech on Saturday. We'll get you back into regular programming here on ESPN Radio. We'll be in the Jackson Wings, etc. location next Monday. Hope you'll join us then. So long, everybody, from Wings, etc.